Salut! I'm Sumo from FrenchArena. Have you ever wondered how to say the in French? Let's talk about it. On commence! Now, in today's lesson, we are going to take a look at French articles. French articles are sometimes confusing for language students because they have to agree with the noun that they modify, and also because they don't always correspond to articles in other languages. In today's lesson, we are going to take a look at the French definite articles. If you're yet to watch the French indefinite articles, please click this link above so that you can get a better understanding of the indefinite articles in the French language. If this is your first time here today, welcome and thank you so much for being here. Please do not forget to subscribe, and throughout this lesson, if you happen to like it, please give it a thumbs up and share with anyone else who might be interested. Let's start. There are two things I want you to always remember when it comes to the French articles. The first is they must agree with the gender and the number of the noun they precede. And the second is these articles are always required. Even if they can be omitted in the English language, they cannot be omitted in the French language. Now, you might be wondering, okay, so what exactly are the French definite articles? In the French language, there are four options depending on whether the noun is masculine, feminine, plural, or it comes before a vowel. Now, there are three singular definite articles. Masculine is le, feminine is la, and if it starts before a vowel, it is L apostrophe. There's only one plural definite article, and this is les. So, for instance, le precedes the masculine nouns. And examples of masculine nouns in French are, for instance, le fermier, le cahier, le garçon, le pommier. As for la precedes the feminine nouns. So examples of feminine nouns are la fille, la pelle, la selle, la terre. Les precedes the plural noun, so both masculine and feminine. As long as it's plural, it always precedes it. So for example, les gens, because this is people in plural, les gens. And L apostrophe precedes the masculine or the feminine nouns that start before a vowel. So for example, l'ananas. How are you finding the lesson so far? Please do not forget that at the end of this lesson, we are going to take a quiz just to test your knowledge on French definite articles, okay? Now, there are various ways in which one can use the definite articles. French definite articles are used similarly to the English counterpart the to talk about specific identified nouns. So for example, je vais à la banque, which is I'm going to the bank. You see, la banque is what? It's because it's feminine. So la is the in French. Let's take another example. Second example, le chat est sur le toit. Le chat est sur le toit, which is the cat is on the roof. Okay, do you see that? Actually, it looks like I'm using two different articles, right? Le chat est sur le toit. So two articles in one. However, there are many instances where a definite article is required in the French language, but not in English. Number one instance, multiple nouns. Where there's more than one noun, the French always require an article in front of it. Let me show you some examples. Number one, le chat et la souris sont amis. Le chat et la souris sont amis. And in English, this is just the cat and mouse are friends. But do you see that in the French language, we have to say le chat and la souris? In English, we can just say the cat and mouse. We don't necessarily need to say the cat and the mouse, all right? Let me show you a second example. J'ai acheté les stylos et les crayons que tu aimes. So in English, this is really, I bought the pens and pencils you like. We don't necessarily need to say once again, I bought the pencils and the pens that you like. The second instance is just used to refer to general categories, which really means it is frequently used after verbs expressing opinions. So for example, I do not like animals. So you see that that's an opinion that is being expressed. I do not like animals. Je n'aime pas les animaux. In English, I don't need to say I do not like the animals. You just say I don't like animals and I understand you. But in French, the article has to be before the word animals. Another example, les professeurs travaillent beaucoup. Les professeurs travaillent beaucoup, which means teachers work a lot. So do you see that in English, I wouldn't say the teachers work a lot. I just say teachers work a lot because it's in the general sense. But in French, you cannot just say professeur travaille beaucoup. You have to say les professeurs travaillent beaucoup. Now, the third instance are for times and dates. Now, the definite article is used before the days of the week to indicate a recurring or a habitual action. So I could say, le mardi, les musées sont fermés. Le mardi, les musées sont fermés. Which is, on Tuesdays, the museums are closed. So do you see that this is a recurring action, which means every Tuesday, the museums are closed. So that's for day. Like I also said, the definite articles are used with dates. For example, nous allons le visiter le 16 octobre. Nous allons le visiter le 16 octobre. There are many more instances where the French definite article is required, but we cannot go through every single one of them in this lesson. I have just listed out 3 for you so that you can remember them when using the French definite articles. Now we're going to talk about the contraction of the French definite articles. This is really, really important. The French articles can contract with the prepositions a and de. A and de. Now, when it's contracted with a plus le becomes e. A plus la becomes a la. A plus L apostrophe becomes a L apostrophe. And a plus le becomes e. So for example, the first one, I would never say je vais à le magasin. There is nothing like that. Instead, you would say je vais au magasin. Je vais au magasin. You see, it has been contracted. So a plus le equals to e. The second one is quite easy to remember because it still stays the same or relatively the same. And you can just say je vais à la plage. Je vais à la plage. The third one, je vais aux États-Unis. So you see that I wouldn't say je vais à les États-Unis. Nothing like that. It has already been contracted to become e, which is a plus les becomes e. And the fourth one, je vais à l'aéroport. Je vais à l'aéroport. And when expressing to the in English or in French, you must always contract them. Please remember that it is extremely important in the French language. Now we're going to look at contractions with de. Contractions with de. Contraction de translates to both from and off. From and off. De plus le becomes du. De plus la becomes de la. De plus L apostrophe becomes de L apostrophe. And de plus le becomes de. So the first one, for example, you would say je viens de magasin. Je viens de magasin. You would never say je viens de le magasin. It does not exist because it has been contracted. For the second one, you would say je viens de la plage. Je viens de la plage. For the third one, you would say je viens des États-Unis. Je viens des États-Unis. So you see that the de and the les have been contracted to de. Please remember this, it's really important. And the fourth one, it would be je viens de l'aéroport. Je viens de l'aéroport. All right. How did you find the French definite articles? Pretty easy, right? Even if it's not, do not worry. The more you practice, the better you get. Now we're going to take a look at 5 different questions just to test your ability on what you have learned today. Please remember to leave me a comment in the comment section below telling me how many you got. Now, in the different questions we're going to take a look at, you're going to tell me which definite article you believe is best. Is it going to be le, la, les, or L apostrophe? Which do you think is best for each of the sentences? Number 1, nouvel ordinateur de papa est très beau. Which is the correct definite article? Is it la, les, le, or L apostrophe? Perfect. The correct French definite article is le. And why? Because it's masculine. Let's take a look at number 2. Number 2, France est un très beau pays. Is it la, le, les, or L apostrophe? Hey, you got it right. It's la. La France est un très beau pays. Number 3, chevaux adorent grands espaces. Is it les, la, L apostrophe or le? So you see that there are two missing. Tell me which is correct. Perfect. It is les. Les chevaux adorent les grands espaces. So you see what I said in the beginning, that for the French articles, when they're multiple nouns, you definitely have to put the articles in front of it. Even though it means horses love wide open spaces in English, and you can see that it didn't say the horses love the wide open spaces. In the French language, you always have to use the French definite article. Please remember this. Let's take a look at number 4. Number 4. Gâteau de maman est délicieux. Is it le, la, L apostrophe ou les? It is le. Le gâteau de maman est délicieux. Le. And why? Because it's a masculine noun. Let's take a look at number 5. Number 5. C'est anniversaire de mon copain. Is it L apostrophe, le, la, ou les? It's L apostrophe. C'est l'anniversaire de mon copain. So you see, remember what I said in the beginning, if it comes before a vowel, you would use L apostrophe. You cannot say c'est le anniversaire, does not exist. You cannot say c'est la anniversaire. You cannot say c'est les anniversaire. It does, so it's c'est l'anniversaire. L apostrophe. So don't forget to tell me in the comment section below how many of these questions did you get. If you got everything, perfect. If you didn't get everything, do not worry. The more you practice, the easier it will be for you to understand the French definite articles. If you liked today's video, please do not forget to watch the French indefinite articles so you can get a better understanding of the French articles. And if you liked the video, do not forget to give it a thumbs up. Please share with anyone else who might be interested in understanding the French definite articles, and don't forget to subscribe. Until I see you in the next lesson, bonne journée.